So for this video, Stacy and I are going to be introducing the 2024 Discord Reading Challenge for the Bookish Drummer Discord, of course.
Yeah.
And last year we did one for 2023 and it went pretty well.
Yeah, it all started because I had always done the Pop Sugar one every year, and then I looked at the prompts for 2023 and I was like, I kind of hate these. So we decided to make our own last year, and we had fun with it.
Yeah,
other people did too.
We came up with a lot of cool, interesting, unique prompt ideas.
Yeah, this year it's not so much focused on that. This year is more focused on prompts that will help you clear out your physical TBR, because I know that's both of our goal and also a few other friends of ours. So I thought that would be a good idea.
And same as last year, it's going to be 52 prompts, one book for every week, essentially.
Actually, last year was like 51 with like the DNF. This year is 52 with the DNF.
So technically,
there's one more.
There's 53.
Yeah.
Well, what if I don't DNF a book?
It's fine. It's just a bonus.
Okay, good. So, yeah. And basically for this video, we're going to go through every single prompt and we're going to interchange giving examples for all of them just to give y'all some ideas of what we're going with here.
Yeah, I mean, some of these picks may end up staying on our TBR plan and some of them may change, but it's fun just to do the scavenger hunt of picking them out too.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it.
So prompt 1 is a book that has the same vibes as a song that you like or that relates to the lyrics of it in some way. And for this, I ended up choosing the song Hurts Sometimes by Slander and Fairlane. And I think that the lyrics of it relate very well to I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy. And that's a memoir I've been meaning to get around to. So I'm looking forward to that.
So prompt number 2 is a book that you own or that you have access to in more than one format. And for me, I'm going to go with Voyager by Diana Gabaldon, which is the third Outlander book. And I own this mass market, and I'm going to probably be doing the audiobook.
Yes, maybe a little we do own the audiobooks.
Maybe a little bit of immersion reading, but I do own it double.
So prompt 3 is to read a book that was an anticipated release at the time, but that you haven't gotten around to for whatever reason. And for me, this is going to be Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. So I absolutely love Sword of Kaigen. It's probably one of my all-time favorites. And I knew that Blood Over Brighthaven was coming this past summer. And for some reason, just between like readathons and being busy with life stuff, being busy with other planned reads and committed buddy reads and read-alongs, I just did not have time to fit it in. So I'm pretty sad about that, but I will definitely correct my wrongs and get to it in 2024.
Prompt number 4 is to read a book towards a goal that you set yourself for this year. And what I'm going to do is Black Prism by Brent Weeks. And the reason I picked this book is that we are doing a Lightbringer read-along on the Discord reading channel.
So it's your goal of sticking to a read-along? Okay. Prompt 5 is to read a book that was gifted to you or that you got for free somehow. So it could be like the library or it could be a book you borrowed. But I'm going to go with one that was gifted to me. And that would be Blackstone Heart by Michael R. Fletcher. And this was gifted to me from Nico last Christmas. And I'm excited to get to it.
And prompt number 6 is to read a book by an author that you've previously given 5 stars to. And most of the books that I've read by this author, I've given 5 stars to. And that would be Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. One of my all-time favorite authors. I've really only given 2 of her books not 5 stars. Most of them have been 5 stars. So.
Which 2 were not 5? Just out of curiosity.
One True Loves and Carrie Soto Was Back.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this.
So prompt 7 is to read a book that takes up a lot of room on your shelves. So a real chunker. And for this, I picked another gifted books. Surprisingly. No, not surprisingly. But I picked another gifted book, not only because I really want to get to it, but also because it takes up a lot of room on the shelf.
It's chunky.
It is. And that would be The Book That Wouldn't Burn by Mark Lawrence, the first in the Library trilogy. And it is a thick hardcover. I mean, if you compare that to like the width of a paperback, it's like 2 paperbacks.
It's chunky.
It's chunky.
Prompt number 8 is to read a book by an author that you've never read before, but you own more than one book from. And for this one, we just got the second book, even though I haven't read the first book. Priest of Bones by Peter McLean. This is the first book in the War for the Rose Throne series. And we bought book 2 the other day, and I have not read this one yet. So
yeah. To be fair, we found used copies of both 1 and 2. So it's not that unusual for us to be in this situation. Prompt number 9 is to read a book that someone in our books rating channel gave 5 stars to, or more stars. And I'm choosing to do The Ice, which is the novella in The Bound and the Broken by Ryan Cahill. And Nina gave this all the stars. She loved it. I'll have to insert a screenshot. But I am starting Bound and the Broken this winter, so it'll be on my plan for next year.
And for prompt number 10, we have a book that someone in the books rating channel gave either a low rating or DNF'd. And our friend Sharon did not like this book. I don't know if she gave it a low rating or DNF'd it, but she did not like it. And that would be Bunny by Mona Awad. And this definitely has some mixed reviews, but I typically like horror thriller books with lower ratings on Goodreads, so I'm definitely gonna have fun with this, I think.
Okay. So prompt 11 is to read a book you own that you either know or remember nothing about. And this one for me, I don't know much about because it was gifted to me, and the reason it was gifted to me is because I absolutely love one of this author's other books, and that would be Keep It in the Family by John Marrs. And of course, The Passengers is like one of my favorite thrillers. So I am purposefully going into this one in the dark.
And prompt number 12 is to read a book that's recommended by at least 2 booktubers. And there's tons of booktubers who love this author. And that would be Adrian Tchaikovsky's Shards of Earth. And a couple booktubers probably Andrew, Boiled Jellyfish. A lot of people love Tchaikovsky, and I do as well.
Prompt 13 is to read a buddy read with either one person or a group of us on the Bookish Drummer Discord. And for this, I'm going to go with our January Thrill, Chill, or Kill pick because I know I'll knock it out early. And that will be Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes.
Definitely excited for that one.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really read any sci-fi horrors before, I don't think. I've read like fantasy horror, and I've read like sci-fi thriller, but I don't think I've done sci-fi horror, so I'm excited about that.
Prompt number 14 is to read a book with the title written vertically on the spine. And the one I'm going to go with is The Girl Before by Renee Olson. And if you can tell, it is written vertically on the spine, and Stacey has another example.
Of course, one of my all-time favorite series, or like at least the beginning, has vertical titles on the spine.
Boo.
So prompt 15 is to read a cover by or a book that you're drawn to because of the cover. And for this, I am excited to dive into Bewitched, which is the first book in a new series by Laura Thalassa.
Prompt number 16 is to read a 2024 release by a new to you author. So an author that you've never read before. I had a little bit of trouble finding one, but an example could be like a nonfiction book by like a celebrity that has never written a book before. And I'm going to go with Entrances and Exits by Michael Richards. I don't think there's a book cover yet, but Michael Richards is...
Kramer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been watching Seinfeld with me, you know.
Yeah.
He's had a controversial life, so this should be a fun read.
Prompt number 17 is to read a pet pick, or if you don't have a pet, you can use a friend or family member's pet, or just a friend or family member in general. And I haven't chosen this yet because I think I'm going to my sister's I know I'm going to my sister's over Christmas, and I think I will enlist the help of one of her pets with this.
Yep, and I will just use one of my dogs because they'll go after any treats anytime, so.
Yeah. You're going to have to do it with both of them, so it's fair.
Nah.
Just put one in the other room or what? Oh boy.
And prompt number 18 is to read a book that you acquired while you were on an attempted book buying ban or a recent purchase if you aren't on a ban. So I don't put myself on book buying bans. I don't purchase too many books. But we did recently just go to Barnes & Noble, and I'm excited for The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, which is the sequel to The Housemaid, which I gave 5 stars. So definitely excited for that.
Prompt number 19 is to read a book that you think you'll want to binge. And I plan on doing this with Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I love his books, of course. And as a thriller, I'll probably want to binge it.
And it's also one of our Thrill, Chill, or Kill book club picks for the year.
Yeah. The hard part is going to be waiting until the start of the new month to read it, because I think it comes out like 2 weeks before that.
Prompt number 20 is to read a book that you, or at least partially read while on some kind of outing, so outside of your own house. And I do a lot of audiobooking, so I can do that either outside or in the car, like driving to and from work. And one book that I could do that for is All the Missing Girls by Megan Miranda, which, speaking of the Throw, Chill, or Kill book club, this is our pick for March. So definitely excited for that.
So prompt 21 is to read a book that features one of your favorite colors on the cover. And one of my favorites is purple. So I'm thinking about doing Between Wrath and Mercy, which is the first book in a series by Jess Wisecup. I can't remember the series title at the minute. Divine Between. There you go.
There you go.
It's fantasy romance. I can tell you that much.
And prompt 22 is the opposite of that. Read a book that features one of your least favorite colors. I don't really have like a least favorite color, but for some reason this shade of pink or whatever this is for Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, I do not like. It does not look appealing to me. Oh boy. She put off a hair, which was probably yours.
Probably. Prompt 23 is to read a book where you can spell either your first name or your nickname with letters found in the title of the book plus the author's name. And for this, I think I'm going to go for Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. And I would say my nickname is Stace, S-T-A-C-E. So you can find all of those between Red Seas Under Red Skies and Scott Lynch.
Excited for you to read that one.
Yes, I've reread the first book in order to prepare for reading this one. And I still haven't gotten here, so I need to before I forget the first one again.
And prompt number 24 is to read a book by an author that shares either a name or at least one initial with you. And I don't have this book because it comes out next year. It's going to be the new Lisa Jewell book, which I don't think there's a picture of, but if there is, I will put it here. I don't know, but either way, I'm for sure 100% reading the new Lisa Jewell book.
And you guys share both initials, they're just flip-flopped.
Yeah.
Prompt 25 is to read a book from an author that you've only read from once before. And for this, I am excited to do Dark Ride by Ian Robb Wright, and I've only read his other horror, Escape.
So prompt 26 is going to require a little bit of work in Stacy's cell phone, which she's preparing. And basically, it's a book that you randomly generated from either your shelves or from your want to read or TBR lists. So basically, I'm going to be randomly generating a book right now from one of these 3 bookshelves. So I'm going to do 1 through 3 for the shelves, and then each bookshelf has 5 shelves. And then after that, I'll probably do like 1 through 30 or whatever, how many books are on there. So we're going to do the first one.
Okay, so I've got 1 through 3 ready. I'm going to hit generate, and we got 1.
Okay.
So there's 6 shelves.
Oh, 5.
5? Okay. So I've got 1 through 5 ready. We've gotten 2.
Okay, well, it's George.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing for you. So we've counted, there are 39 books on the second shelf. So I've got 1 to 39 ready. And we've got 19, I think. Wild cards?
Wild cards, which actually works out because I have never read this one yet. So that works out pretty well.
Prompt 27 is to read a book whose title begins with a randomly generated letter. And I did generate my letter ahead of time just so I could pick one out. And I got W. So I thought this was going to be hard until I remembered, oh yeah, I have plans to read Stormlight. So I'm going to slot Words of Radiance in here.
Yeah.
It's a chunker.
And for prompt number 28, we have a standalone book that is part of a larger universe or a companion novel. I don't really have a lot of those, but I did manage to find Notes from the Midnight Driver by Jordan Sonnenblick. You probably recognize that name from Drums, Girls, and Dangerous Pie. And this is actually a companion novel because the main character from that book plays a minor role in this book.
Prompt number 29 is to read a YA or middle grade book. And perfectly enough, I just happened to haul a YA romance, and that would be Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And I have read and enjoyed her adult romances, so I'm curious to see what she's done in her YA.
And for prompt number 30, it's to read a book set during your favorite season. And my favorite season is definitely fall. And you got problems with that?
No,
Okay.
I'm just teasing. Fall's pretty nice.
Yeah. And so the book that I'm picking for this is September House, which of course, September is in fall. And it's also another thrill, chill, or kill book club pick. Could you guess which month we're going to read it in?
Oh, gee, I wonder. I'm giving Jake a hard time, but for anyone wondering, my favorite season is definitely summer.
That's definitely the worst. It's too hot.
Well, I'm from Canada, okay? It doesn't get that hot. Prompt 31 is to read a book that shares a first or last name with a famous musician. And we thought this would be a fun one to bring back from one of our readathons because it was the most popular prompt of the readathon, so people seem to like it. And for this, I am going to go for Lightbringer by Pierce Brown, who of course shares the last name Brown with James Brown.
And for prompt number 32, we have a book set at least partially in the mountains. And this book was kindly gifted to me by my brother and his wife, and it is Near the Bone by Christina Henry, which is like a thriller horror book set probably, I would guess, in the snowy mountains in a cabin.
Given that there's a mountain on the cover, that's probably a good bet.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing.
Prompt 33 is to read a short story collection, and for this I am excited to finally be getting to Road Brothers, which is the short story collection for Broken Empire, and I think it also spans into the very beginning of Red Queen's War, so it's kind of meant to be a bit of a bridge. But I read the original trilogy for Broken Empire like so long ago, and I still have not read the short stories, so it's about time I finish the series.
And for prompt number 34, we have read a book that features a fictional creature, and definitely a book that I will be getting to this year is Age of War, which is the third book in Legends of the First Empire by Michael J. Sullivan. And there's definitely some fictional creatures up in this book.
Yeah, aren't there like elves and other things?
Well, you'll find out when we read it for the read-along that's happening on the Bookish Drummer Discord.
I guess. Prompt 35 is to read either a TBR veteran or the oldest published book on your TBR. And for me, I'm going to go for the TBR veteran. And I think I only have one book left on my want to read list from 2018. Or like that was added on there in 2018. I think everything else is like 2019, 2020 or newer. And that would be Half Broke Horses by Jeanette Walls.
So, long time coming.
Yes. And I've read her other books and enjoyed them. Except for the new one. I haven't read that one yet. I had been all caught up except that one.
And prompt number 36 is to read a book that you can read within 24 hours. Not a lot of books on my shelf I can do that with, but for this author, I certainly can. And that would be Dodger and Me, which is yet again another Jordan Sonnenblick book. This one is like 200 pages, I would guess.
With big font and spacing and margin.
Yeah, it's a middle grade book, so I'll probably finish it in a couple hours.
So prompt 37 is to read a book that you saw on another booktuber's TBR or MBR video of some kind. And I was actually going through and watching a few people's 24 books to read in 2024 TBR videos. And I noticed that Raven-Haired Reader has The Deal, which is the first off-campus book by Elle Kennedy. And that is sitting on my shelf waiting for me. So I thought that would be a good one to slot here.
Prompt number 38 is to read a book by an author who has published books over the span of at least 24 years. And the author that I'm going to go with might sound like she wouldn't have, but trust me, she has. And that would be Lisa Jewell, Before I Met You. Her very first book came out in 1999 before she was famous for writing thrillers. She wrote more like contemporary romancy kind of stuff. And this one's actually more of like a historical fiction set in like the 20s. So I'm definitely interested to check anything out by Lisa Jewell.
Of course. Prompt 39 is to read a book that was published in your birth month and from any year. It doesn't have to be like the month and year that you were born, just the month.
You have to read a book from May 19...
No, just for May. Any May. And I have not yet read Fourth Wing, which came out May 2nd, 2023, I think. It was definitely May anyway. So I'm going to slot that here.
And for prompt number 40, read a book that's connected in some way to another book that you read in 2023. And this can happen in various ways, like a sequel, a similar cover, another book by that same author that you read previously, which is what I'm going to be doing, because I'm going to be reading The Dragons of Deepwood Fen, which is Bradley P. Beaulieu's newest fantasy book. It's the first book in the Book of Holt series. And I love Shattered Sands, one of my all-time favorites, so definitely looking forward to starting his brand new series.
Prompt 41 is to read a book that contains a dragon, since 2024 is the year of the wood dragon. So I am probably going to be continuing on with Fourth Wing and read Iron Flame here.
Unless you don't like the first book.
No, I'll probably like the first book. At least enough to continue, I think.
And prompt number 42 is to read a book that blends at least 3 genres. So an author that can take a bunch of genres and kind of make it all flow together properly. And an author that definitely does that well is Diana Gabaldon. And this is the 5th Outlander book, which is The Fiery Cross, which is a brick of a book, 1,400 pages or so. And for Outlander, it's sci-fi, it's fantasy, it's historical fiction,
it's romance.
It's a lot rolled into one, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting further on into the series this year.
43 is to read the shortest book on your physical TBR. And I think for me, that's got to be Only the Stains Remain by Ross Jeffrey. I think this is what, like 150 pages or less?
It's probably shorter than that.
114, there you go.
And for prompt number 44, a book associated with the number 4 in some way because of 2024, of course. And of course, this can be used in various ways. 4th book in a series, 4th book published by that author, 4 somewhere in the page count. Maybe you bought it for $4.
Or £4.
Or £4. Or maybe it was released in April or takes place in April. Something to do with the number 4.
Do you like the Easter egg of what number I made this prompt?
The Easter egg?
Yeah, what number is this prompt?
Oh, mind blown. Just now got that. But anyway, I'm going to go with Drums of Autumn, which is the 4th Outlander book. And I'm assuming it's going to be the best because it has drums in it.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
And yeah, it's the 4th book.
So prompt 45 is to read a book that's been described using one of your buzzwords. And I think I'm going to slot Age of Myth here, which is the first book in Legends of the First Empire by Michael J. Sullivan. And the buzzword for me here is rebellion, for sure. And also, to be fair, Tim Gerard Reynolds is a buzzword for me.
That's your true buzzword.
They're both buzzwords. I mean, I tend to like rebellion or dystopian stories, so...
Prompt number 46 is to read a book by one of your favorite authors that's not a reread. And I'm going to go with After I Do by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And if I read this book and her other book, I will have read all of her books until she comes out with a new one.
Which might be this year.
Maybe.
Prompt 47 is to read a book that's been giving you FOMO. And for years, I have had FOMO about the series because everyone, with like a few exceptions, but pretty much everyone loves it. And of course, that would be Stormlight. So I'm going to slot in Oathbringer here.
Prompt number 48 is definitely a Stacy creation because you pay attention to this a lot more than I do.
I do, it's true.
And it's to read a book whose title is written in a font that you like. You like fonts in books or on book covers.
I tend to notice that seems to be a marketing tactic. Like, we'll go to the used bookstore and there'll be like these unknown books and unknown authors that have like the same font on the spine as like a really popular series, and you're like, oh, they're trying to market it like it's close to this.
Yeah, I don't really pay that much attention, but I will admit this book has an interesting font. So I'm going to go with The Mars Room by Rachel Kushner. It's got some interesting font and then also on the spine. So yeah, that's what I'm going to go with.
Prompt 49 is to read a book featuring a character who hates their job or position. And this is one that I suspected might have fit, but that Jake confirmed for me would fit. And that would be Way of Kings. Because you said, was it Dalinar?
Mm-mm.
No? Kaladin?
Kaladin.
Okay. Kaladin apparently hates his job or position.
And prompt number 50 is to read a book that finishes out a series or that is the last of an author's backlist title that you haven't read yet. For this one, I'm going to go with last in a series because, of course, we are going to be doing a read-along for Lightbringer over on the Book Astronomer Discord. And, of course, it's a completed series with 5 books. So I'm going to slot in The Burning White, which we will be reading in May.
Yeah.
Super chunky, but I'm hoping that it's going to have a great ending.
A lot of people say it doesn't. And prompt 51 is to read a book that takes you back to your reading roots. So either something that you think you would have loved when you first started reading, or maybe it's rereading a favorite, something along that lines. And for me, I'm going to do a reread of like one of the first adult fantasy series I ever read. And for me, that would be Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. And I'm excited because I feel like I'll pick up on a lot more detail and subtle foreshadowing being a more seasoned fantasy reader now.
And for prompt number 52, you're going to go back to the 2023 reading challenge that we did and pick your favorite prompt and then pick a book for that prompt.
You could also do it with one of our 2023 readathons. It doesn't have to be the Discord reading challenge from last year.
Yeah, and for me, I might have chosen what Stacy would call a lazy prompt.
A little bit, yeah.
And mine is to read a short story and or graphic novel from any author. And I'm going to go ahead and pick The Hedge Knight by George R.R. Martin, which is a graphic novel. And I'm happy with my decision.
Wait, isn't this prompt supposed to be like from an author who writes novellas and novels as well?
Yeah. But I'm just going to pick one of those.
Well, yeah, but it still has to be an author who writes all 3 if you're going to do that.
Well, George
does. But I'm just saying, get the prompt right.
I am reading this book and you can't stop me.
That's fine. Just get the prompt right. And one last bonus prompt is a book that you tried to read for this challenge but DNF'd. So if you're not somebody who DNFs, you don't have to do this. It's literally just the bonus. But it's a fun thing that I like to include in the challenge because otherwise I notice that I will feel pressured to continue reading something I'm not loving. But having it as a prompt is like telling myself I'm allowed to DNF. It's okay. It's part of the challenge and it'll still count for something.
I have no problem DNFing. I've DNF'd 9 books in 2023.
Yeah, I think I've DNF'd 2 this year. Yeah.
All right, so those are the 52, well, technically 53 prompts for our new 2024 Discord reading challenge. And this will be taking place over on the Book Astronomer Discord. And we'll have links for it down below. And it'll be, I'm sure we'll have some kind of tracking system, right, babe?
Yes. So I have a Storygraph challenge all made, and I also have a Google Doc tracker made, and we'll probably have like graphic templates at some point as well.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to just update starting in January, just where we are. You have all year to do it, and it's 52 prompts, or technically 53, which comes out to around a book a week.
Yeah. And we also have a channel in the Discord for discussing the challenge specifically. So if you're looking for ideas or recommendations for a certain prompt, or you want to post your TBR, or just anything challenge related, feel free to pop in there.
And please let us know if you're interested in doing this challenge. And if you're not already on the Book Astronomer Discord, we'll have a link for that below, and you can go join us, and we'll have a fun time doing it.
Also, let me know what your favorite prompt was.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Maybe it's something that I created, or maybe it's something that she created.
Or maybe it's something that Pat came up with.
Yeah, one of our mods over on the Book Astronomer Discord.
Yes, big shout out to Pat for being super helpful in our brainstorming process. Both for this and for some of our readathons.
All right, so that'll conclude this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, go join the Book Astronomer Discord and we'll have a fun time with it. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a fantastic day.